Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Before we get into the video, I just want to say hi. I'm here. I'm alive. I just put my hair down to film this, and now it's already in my way. Thank you to everyone who's been reaching out to me. I've been okay. Mom, Lindsay, has been so busy, she hasn't had a moment to stop, to think, to breathe, to do anything. Regular life Lindsay, not Life with Lindsay, has been struggling with some mental health stuff, and you put the two together, and I didn't have time to process how I was feeling, and I didn't have time to just relax because it has been chaotic. So I will tell you guys all about what I've been up to for the last couple weeks. I do apologize for disappearing. It was fully intended that I was going to continue to make content during this time. I just didn't. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Bye, guys. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Today, we have a WIP Chat. Yay! Woo! If you guys have been around for a while, and you've come back, hi, thanks so much. But yes, I'm here. I'm alive. Everything's well. It's just been chaotic. I do apologize. This is my first WIP Chat in what, like 3 weeks? And that's not like me. So if you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting and some other crafting related content. I would love for you to like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard that hot mess express. Let's be friends. I'm debating putting a little pre-intro video into this, kind of explaining a little bit. So if I did, then you've already heard all of this. And if I didn't, just know that life has been chaotic. I am okay. We are trucking on. So I am doing this today with no notes. So hopefully that does not backfire, because if you didn't know, I take very mediocre notes of my week by going through my Google timeline on Google Maps. And then I go, oh, I went to Dunkin' Donuts for the 700th time this week and dropped my kid off at school and ran this errand and ran that errand. And side note, if anybody else uses the Dunkin' Donuts app, can you message me? Okay. They changed their app to be more like Starbucks, which is fine. But I can't figure out how to redeem the things that I have points accumulated for. Like, it was easier before when it would just be like, here's a free coffee, and then you click it and you redeem it for a free coffee. Now it's like, you have 1,700 points. What do you want to do with them? And I'm like, whereas unlike Starbucks, like if you are in an order, and if I'm only gonna talk about this for a minute, so don't worry, like it's not gonna be an hour on me talking about my coffee ordering. But if you order from like Starbucks' app, at the bottom it'll tell you you can redeem 50 points for that item or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so I'm missing something. I am missing something. Anyway, for those who've reached out to me over the last couple weeks to make sure that everything is okay, everything's okay. I will have a video. I shouldn't say I will. I think I'm going to make a video that has absolutely nothing to do with crafting, absolutely nothing to do with diamond painting, really none of like the content that's on my channel, but kind of like more of like a personal mental health kind of video. I'm not really going to get into that with this because, yeah. So anyway, over the last couple weeks, my family has been nonstop. And what I don't understand is, how is it that I send my kid to school 3 days a week? I mean, it's not very long. She's there for like less than 3 hours a day. But, I somehow have less time to get things done. And I can tell you that one of the main reasons that is because we've been doing more activities during what would be her nap time, or that go into what would be her nap time. And unfortunately, that means that I don't have the same amount of time to work in a day, which is fine, because, you know, like, this isn't, I'm not sitting here like paying my bills by diamond painting. You know what I mean? I'm doing this to relieve my stress and anxiety and to just make beautiful art. And I just realized I didn't tell anybody what I'm working on. As always, if you are new here, I don't really go over my accessories, so if you ever want to know what something is, just feel free to leave it down in the comments below, and I'll let you know. This canvas is Lullaby Dragon. It is from Enabler's Outpost, and it is by Emma Casey, who you can find here on YouTube. I will link her information down below. If you'd like to see on the unboxing for this, I'll link that up in the eye. And if you see, you probably can't see. I'm working on okay, so my hands are out of frame. If I lean in, like, this is how big of a work area I'm working on. I am working on the entire canvas sideways. Does it have the parameters listed on it? No. So I'm not gonna... It is longer width-wise than it is height-wise, so I'm just working on it sideways. And so far, I've really enjoyed you can probably see, like, symbol quality is really nice. The drills have been really nice. I'm just really enjoying this. And I've wanted to work on one of Emma's pieces for a long time. She's also licensed with not Diamond Painting UK, a shop in the UK. I'm spacing on the name of it. And I had looked into it ages ago to order one of her pieces, and the shipping, I couldn't swing the cost of shipping to justify. And that's fine. That's a me thing. And you guys will always hear me talking about, like, shipping is just unbelievably expensive. And I think so many people just don't realize that or don't want to believe it. Which, if you've never heard any of my soapbox rants about this, the long and the short of it, no small business is profiting off of shipping costs. If they tell you it costs $17 to ship something to you, it costs $17 to ship it to you. Or it might cost $15 and change, and then the rest of that is to cover the cost of the materials to ship it in. Ta-da! That's the end. But I'm really excited. I wanted to work on this kit. She's not very big. I think it's 65 by 50. Let's see. Do I have it here? It's going to drive me nuts if I don't look. Here we go. Can you guys see? This is the sheet from Enabler's Outpost. It is a 50 by 65, yeah. So, and it has 42 colors with ABs and crystals. Sorry for hitting the camera. I'm really excited to finally get to work on this. It's not a very big canvas, so I'm hoping it doesn't take too much time. My last canvas didn't really take me a long time. I just didn't have enough days to sit down and work on it. So even though it, only took me X amount of time, it was X amount of days over the span of like 6 weeks or something. Which, if you want to see, I did a post review for Amanda, which was the last one I completed. I will link that one up in the eye for you. So anyway, you guys are probably like, we want to hear about your week and your life. And if you do, thank you. So let's see. Everything's going to be a little disjointed because, again, I didn't take any notes. So if you're new here, you may or may not know that I have a almost 5-year-old kiddo. I hate the fact that I'm saying that. Her birthday is this month, and I am just, whew. And anyway, my kiddo likes to ice skate. She figure skates currently 2 days a week. If it were up to her, she would skate every day of the week. So our normal schedule is on Mondays, we let her have the extended day at school, which means we pay an additional fee, and then my daughter stays for an extra hour and a half. She eats lunch at school, runs around in the gym for an hour, and then we pick her up. From there, we go right down to her ice rink. Well, to the ice rink that's down the street from school. And we take her, and she does public skate. We've been doing that now for quite some time. Like 2 months, I guess. We waited till, like, we got into the swing of things with school before we added this in. But she loves it. And that ice skating rink is literally on the same street as her school, which is fantastic for us. And they have public skate from 1 to 2:30. And because Briar has her own skates, it's only $5 for a session. But I've learned that they have like an unlimited pass, which I'm going to get for this month. And it's $35, and it's unlimited open ice. Obviously, you can't go whenever you want. You can only go when there's public skate. So, that first week, I didn't get a WIP Chat out. And then Tuesday morning, she has her lessons. The reason I didn't get that first week's WIP and Chat out is Monday, we went for public skate. Tuesday, we went for her lesson. A friend of ours her son skates at a different rink as part of their adaptive program. And she had said something to me because Mondays didn't really work for her schedule. And I looked it up and I had no idea that rink has open public skate 5 or 7 days a week. I was like, well, I didn't realize that. So then that Thursday we went to the rink with our friend who I have not seen since before COVID. So it was really nice to see. And she went out on the ice with her kid and my kid. And of course, my daughter goes, see, Mommy, some mommies ice skate with their kids. And I was like, girl, Mommy has not been on ice skates in 20 plus years. And I was like easily 100 pounds less then. This body is like approaching middle age, very overweight, and has not been in skates. So this body is scared when it falls, it's going to need medical assistance. So I told her, after Disney, I will get on the ice. I'm hoping that she understands it's not going to be like literally the day we get back from Disney, because your girl's going to need a vacation from the vacation. So we did that. That was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. And then she asked me, Mommy, can we go after school tomorrow, which would be Friday? And I said, sure, kiddo. So that was 4 days that week that I got nothing productive accomplished, because by the time we get home from the rink, her nap time would be almost over. So not only do I not have time to work, I also didn't have time to record. I've got a couple unboxings that I'd like to film this week if I can find a moment. I did get a new Diamond Art Club. It has been a minute since I purchased from Diamond Art Club. But I got the new Julie Filipenko, which I'm absolutely thrilled by. I've been watching Tia on Instagram, her progress on it, and she is just plowing right through it. If you guys don't know Tia, I'll leave all of her information down below. You can check out her Instagram, check out her progress. I'm always impressed. So I've got that. I think there's a Dreamer Designs down there. I have a Lola Rose that's been sitting pending in my YouTube for a very long time now. I wanted to release it close to the date of her fall release. So I do have to double check with her when that will be. And then I think I have like another one or two just chilling in my queue. You know, I've said it before. I batch film. If you don't know what that means when I have the time, I sit and record as much as I can. There's two huge issues to that. The first one is I need to have time. I prefer to film during the day simply because I've got slightly better lighting, although it is dark and gloomy in here today. I've got my ring light going. I've got the overhead light going. It is what it is. And then the other huge factor to that is I don't have a lot of room on my phone. So sometimes what I'll do is I will record one video or two videos, and then I will edit and put that up on YouTube right away. I'll set it as private. And once that has completed processing and doing all of the boring YouTube stuff, then I will erase that video off my phone and then I'll go and record the next. So if you couldn't tell, it's a pretty time-consuming process for me. And I know, like, if I just took everything off my phone, I'd have more room. But, like, at the end of the day, memories of my kid and life and those kinds of things are more important for me to have long-term access to than a WIP and Chat or an unboxing that I filmed a couple weeks ago. That's a me opinion. You guys might think differently, but so anyway, we had done ice skating the 4 days, and she had said something to me, Mommy, and I was like, listen, girl, I love you, but Mommy needs a break. We're not going to the rink again. Because I love my daughter, and I'm encouraging my daughter to do as much with the ice skating as she wants to. As long as we can afford it, and it's not something that's interfering with other parts of her life, we'll continue to promote that. So, on the flip side of that, I'm no good to anyone if I am drained and dog-tired. And as much as I love my daughter, taking her to the rink, even though she loves ice skating, loves it, like, loves it. It is always a fight. And I know you might be thinking, well, why would you do it if it's a fight? Because literally everything we do with our kid is a fight. Transitioning from one activity to the next is very, very difficult for her. It's difficult for her at home. It's difficult for her out in public. It's difficult for her in the classroom. And it's just hard. And I don't like going to the rink and spending 20 minutes fighting with her to get on her snow pants and her ice skates. And Briar, put on your jacket, take off this. Briar, I gotta put your helmet on. Briar, put your gloves on. Briar, do this. And it is just exhausting. And I can tell you that some of the days we leave the ice rink are much slower of a process than others. Especially when we get there and there's freestyle skaters warming up, because there's so many of them sitting in the lobby and she wants to ask them all a million questions. And why does your bag look like this? And, ooh, I like your pants. And like, she's very excitable. Okay. And I can't get mad at her for that. But like when we got places to go, I don't want to sit there and talk to 6 ice skaters about why their pants look the way they do. I just want to take off your skate gear, put it in the bag, walk out the front door. But silly me, that's not how life works. So my husband was in agreement with me of like, yeah, we're good. This week has been good. Like 4 days is enough. And before anyone says anything, I am not pushing this on her. This is 100% all been her decision to do more ice skating. And honestly, I would have offered it today to her. If you wanted to go today, kiddo. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to actually film. I'm going to get something done today. If you guys hear rustling around in the background, that is my husband. He is doing stuff, work stuff. So he's right here. So it's Friday night, and my husband and I are chilling, as we do. At the end of we both work during her sleeping hours. So over her nap or nap time, and then after she goes to bed. And then after that, usually around 11 o'clock, my husband and I go downstairs and we watch TV together, or we independently sit on opposite ends of the couch playing on our phones while something's streaming on the TV. Let's just call it what it is sometimes. And we were sitting down there, and Disney on Ice was in town that week. And Brian and I were talking about it because I had noticed somebody in my local mom group was selling 2 tickets, which would mean only one of us could go with her, for what I thought was a really great price, like a really great price. And he's like, well, let me see if I can find something. Let me tell you, this man, and I'm totally going to cry right now. This man stepped up and was like the hero for our kid. He found us 3 front row on ice seats for an unbelievable price. And if you guys don't know, Briar has said to us when she grows up that she wants to skate for Disney on Ice. Like, it's been pretty consistent. She'll tell you that. I mean, she'll also tell you she wants to be a tag team wrestler with her dad, not realizing that by the time she's like old enough to wrestle, he'll be in his 60s. So, you know, that's not really going to be feasible. I mean, I shouldn't say that. He's the Man of Steel. He's not Superman, though. But he found these tickets, and he just looked at me, and I was like, this price is too good to pass it up. And we did it. We pulled the trigger. We decided to take her to Disney on Ice. Completely surprised her. It was Frozen and Encanto, both of which are on repeat for her. Like, we actually watched Frozen today. Actually, we watched Frozen 2 today. And let me tell you, if you've never been to Disney on Ice, they have a first act, an intermission, a second act. Well, let me tell you, whoever created this show was like, we're going to give 75% of the ice time to Frozen. And they tell you, like, the abridged version of the story, and they have them singing and dancing and skating and acrobatics, and the shows are unbelievable. Like, there's no denying they are very expensive, but they are unbelievable. And she was totally totally surprised and shocked. So we get there, the first half, whatever, is Frozen. And then you get this, like, teeny tiny little, hey, here's Encanto, which, if you guys haven't seen Encanto, do it. Whether you have kids or not. If you are somebody that comes from a family where you have multiple siblings, do it. I'm just gonna say Louisa is the best. Surface Pressure, that song, the first time I heard that song while I was watching it, I was like, holy shit. I'm gonna cry here. This is me. If you guys didn't know, I am the second oldest of 4 children, so, and my sister is older, so she was out of the house when my younger brothers were, like, really little. So I had this weird role, I still have this weird role of I am a middle child, but I'm also treated as if I'm the oldest in some circumstances because, you know, my sister hasn't lived at home in decades. I mean, I haven't either. But, so yeah, that. Anyway, also, for anyone who has seen Frozen, 1 or 2, or both, whatever, who's the better sister? Because I say Anna every single time, and Briar's like, no, it's Elsa. Every little girl likes Elsa. I don't know why. I mean, she's the main character. I know why. But, so yeah, we went. I don't know if I have any photos, but if I do, I'll throw one up here. If not, you'll just be staring at my finger. But yeah, it was an unbelievable show. We had an amazing time. She was beyond elated, and just, you know, there's very few things that you get to see that kind of, like, sheer excitement for in life when you have kids. You know, those moments for us as adults have pretty much, I don't want to say they've passed, because that's so depressing when you say it like that, but, like, I'm never going to have these kinds of reactions to things the way she is. And to just see it on her face, to hear the songs coming out of her, to just all of it. And it was amazing, and it was such a fantastic show. We saw one, I don't know if it was this year or last year, with my family. I think I had a WIP Chat with that. If I did, I'll put it up in the eye. If not, just please forgive me. But that show was absolutely incredible. The acrobatics on Coco were, like, mind-blowing. Anyway, so that was that week, and it was just, I love being able to make these memories with my kid. I love being able to have these kinds of moments, but these kinds of moments, they cost money and they take time. So, you know, and we're also going to Disney, and it's funny because she had asked us months ago if we could go back to Disney on Ice. And I was like, listen, kid, we're going to Disney soon, so you don't need to go to Disney on Ice. Like, also, like, I didn't want to spend the money to go to Disney on Ice when we were going to Disney. Which, FYI, nobody's asked, but I am not sure what I'm doing in terms of videos for the week that I am gone. Because I guarantee you I'm going to be losing my mind with preparing things for the trip, that I am probably, the last thing on my mind is going to be, let me find the time to sit down and record, because I got to pack, I got to make sure that our suitcases aren't too heavy, you know, it's going to be a lot, anyway, so that was that week. That was great. we had a fantastic time. It's hard to deny that this is something that she wanted to do, and it just lucked out in her favor that her father was able to find. And when I tell you guys, like, an unbelievable price, like, I mean an unbelievable price. The cost of the tickets he got was, like, the same cost as, like, tickets, like, a couple sections up. And I was just like, we have to do it. So anyway, the following week was the week of Halloween, and I don't know if you guys have ever done trunk or treat. I think trunk or treats are absolutely fantastic. If you do not know what a trunk or treat is, it is a trick-or-treating activity. Ooh, I just spilled drills on the floor. Good job, Lindsay. And excuse me. It is where people decorate their trunks. God damn it. Now I dropped that on the floor. Let's try this again, friends. Come on. trying to concentrate, so that's why I'm not talking. Now there's a drill in my nail. You guys, I'm a mess. I'm a hot mess. Okay. Project complete. Project, put that drill on the screen. Anyway, trunk or treat, back to that. So people will decorate their trunks of their car. Oftentimes they're held in school parking lots or in church parking lots or community centers, things like that. They are aimed specifically to the younger crowds. Like, it's not going to be as exciting for your 14-year-old who still trick-or-treats with their younger sibling. But it is an absolutely fantastic way for people who live in, let's say, rural areas, who the next closest neighbor is like a mile away, because it's all contained in one parking lot. You can trick-or-treat through everybody's trunk and then be done. It's really great for little kids because since these are aimed at children, they tend to not allow loud or scary costumes, decorations, things like that. It's great for parents because it is all concise into one place. And previously, we had done multiple trunk or treats. This year, I really didn't hear of that many in our area, or I found out about them after the fact. So I don't know if there just weren't as many this year or what, but we had a couple trick or treat events that we had done, so that was cool. We obviously had regular trick or treat, which I'll talk about in a minute, but we have a family tradition. We go to, the Hershey Gardens, and it used to be called Pumpkin Glow, and if the name doesn't give it away, they had like hundreds of carved pumpkins that were all lit up, and we would go every year. It was a nighttime event, and they have changed it to Pumpkin Palooza. They're definitely trying to make it more family friendly, because I'm sure for some people with small kids, taking them to do a nighttime event is more difficult and interferes with sleep patterns.
It wasn't even nighttime. It was like till 7:30 p.m. So
Let's say I thought it started at 7.
No, it started around 5. And then
so it was evening, yeah. But you know, that's hard for some people. Like, we have dinner usually like 6:30, which I know is just our family. Not everybody eats at that time. But I have friends who like legit eat dinner at like 5 o'clock. I'm like, how do you function? But I mean, don't worry, we've done that too. But so we did Pumpkin Palooza, and I actually took Briar. Brian stayed back to do a little bit of work, and they didn't have carved pumpkins and pumpkins that were lit up the way they did in years prior. They had decorated pumpkins. They had ones that were painted, and then they would take a whole bunch of them and put them into these metal tracks, and they would be frames. I don't know if I have a good picture. I think I do. I'll put one up here. If not, I'll just put the picture up that was mediocre. But we did that. That was a lot of fun. And then at the end of it, you got to decorate your trick-or-treat bag, which was just like a plain little sandwich bag. And then you got to get candy. Now, keep in mind, I live right by Hershey, which, if you did not know, is a real place. So there's Hershey candy everywhere. It's like any event you do on the Hershey grounds, they're like, here's some candy. Take it with you. I need to change the wax in this. Do I want to? Not really, but I will. I hope you like my song. I wrote it just for you. So I had done that. There was a face painter. My daughter waited for that for what felt like a really long time. It probably wasn't nearly as long as it felt like, but anything with a small child feels like it takes forever.
3 minutes, but it felt like...
No, it was pretty substantial, but the girl was unbelievable. Like, my husband and I took Briar to some event over the summer that had face painting, and we were like, oh, would you be able to do a unicorn or whatever it was? She's like, no, only the things pictured. There was like 4 things pictured, and each kid took like 15 plus minutes. This girl, she was so efficient, and she was unbelievable, and she was telling me how she used to be a contractor, and this was like her side gig, and then it became like more often until it became what she does for a living. She was really, really good at it. And then she put some glitter on my face, which made me feel really happy. So we did that. And by the way, I am 1,000% sure I'm going to be missing some of the events that we did here. But my friend Jess has a sensory company. I've talked about her before. I will link her information down below as well. If you guys are local, she does these sensory events where they're like basically play dates, and they have sensory bins out. They're all curated by her. They're also all for sale. And if you are not local, she does ship as well. So these play dates, I've been on 2 other ones, I think, with Briar now. They are so much fun. This particular one was a Halloween themed one. So it had one bin that was basically like making a volcano with the baking soda and the vinegar, but it was like cauldrons, I think. At the end, there was nothing to make it fizz, but the kids didn't care. They would just enjoy getting their hands wet. Another bin was dyed spaghetti. So it's taste safe if you have a little kid that puts things in their mouth. And then there were bean and rice bins, which I will tell you, I love doing messy sensory play, but I do not like doing it in my house because I've got a child that does not like to follow any rules of any sort. And quick sip. Today's beverage of choice is water from my refrigerator, not my refrigerator, water from my sink. In a McDonald's cup. Ta-da.
Yes.
I know. My husband does McDonald's breakfast every Sunday morning, and I get an iced coffee. And so I drank the coffee, and then I put some ice in it and filled it up with water. Anyway, so, but Jess's big genius thing is put the bin inside of another bin. So, like, now I'm like, maybe I could do sensory play with Briar, but it would need to be in a very specific area, because normally that would be an outdoor thing for me. And if you see me switching pens all over the place, yeah, I do that. I have so many pens out at any given time, it's kind of funny. So anyway, we did that, and it was super, super fun, and it was held in this really unique space. It was an event space inside of, like, an antique shop. And when the event was over, the antique shop had a free trick-or-treat event for the kids. So I brought Briar down to the booths, for lack of a better term, and they had a couple adults that were dressed up. One was dressed as Winifred Sanderson, and I can't remember what the guy was dressed up in. And we're talking like seniors were dressed up. But they were very, very excited to have the little kids there and wandering around. So she had that event going on for her. So she had... by the end of Halloween, we had 4 different bags or containers of trick-or-treating hauls, which I want to say something. This may be controversial. Not really. 4 bags of trick-or-treat goodies, and there was not a single Butterfinger to be had. Not a single one, you guys. I was so upset. Now I'm like, I just want to go to the store and buy like a king size Butterfinger. It won't be the same. It won't be the same. You know, and it's funny. I've noticed that Briar enjoys trick-or-treating a lot. And she likes eating candy. And she knows the candy's there. But she's not bothered by it. Like, she doesn't go, Mommy, can I have a piece of my Halloween candy? Like, if she sees me eating something, she'll be like, can I have one? Oh, yeah, sure.
She's never asked me.
Really?
Nope.
She's only asked me, I think, if she sees a wrapper. Maybe I'm wrong.
She's not, like, driven by it at all.
She likes the art of it.
Yeah.
She likes to talk to the people and show off her costume, because everybody, it was always like, do you like my outfit? Which is very much our daughter in a nutshell. But, so we did that event, and that was fun. And it was, she also had a, she makes homemade Play-Doh, and each kid got to take home a little bag worth of stuff. It had the Play-Doh, it had a cookie cutter, so you can make shapes out of it, and a couple other things. It's just, it's a lot of fun, and it's worth every penny. It's not expensive at all, but it's worth every penny going, because it's, you know, an hour and a half of my daughter being able to do the things that, like, I don't let her do at home because it stresses me out, and I don't have to clean it up. I mean, I'm not gonna, like, watch my kids spill stuff on the floor and be like, peace out, I'm done. And Briar did decide to take a whole container of beans and pour it in the rice, or vice versa, which upset another little kid a lot. And I was like, Briar, and I don't think she realized what she was doing until it was happening. But that little kid was not pleased. But anyway, it was great. I had a great time doing that. And then, Briar, so where we live, Halloween's not on Halloween. It annoys me. I've talked about this before, I think. If not, you know, they change the date and they say it's always the same every year. And I'm like, I don't think that's accurate. But this year, our trick or treat was on the Thursday before Halloween. So it was 3 days before actual Halloween. So my daughter wanted us to all dress as Olaf, as she calls him. So I bought one of those giant inflatable costumes. FYI, never again. And I got her a cheaper version, non-inflatable one, at Target. So we had the day of trick or treat for us. It was a very, very long day. The night before, we had driven down to Maryland. We had an appointment Thursday morning at 8:30 in the morning at a children's institute in Baltimore. And we looked it up. We actually stayed outside the city. If you guys have been here, you've heard me, like, Baltimore's our go-to. But we don't drive around in Baltimore. And Baltimore, not unlike any other major city, you could go like 4 blocks and it'd take 20 minutes if it's, you know, rush hour. So we opted, where did that go? We opted to stay just outside the city, and it would have taken us about the same amount of time to get from there to Baltimore versus staying in Baltimore and driving, excuse me, to the center. So we had this appointment scheduled. This was for my daughter's assessment, which we did. But the night before, Wednesday night, we stopped and got some dinner, and dinner was fine. And then our waiter, like, straight up disappeared for like 20 minutes. And I was like, yo, we need to go. Like, this kid she was tired. She was hangry. She was grumpy. It was just like, okay, our clock is ticking down. And then I even had to, like, flag down a different waiter. And I was like, could you please let our server know we're ready for our check? And then the check was wrong. And then he asked me, he said, oh, I didn't charge you for this. I have to run it through again. And then my husband's wings were on special, but we got charged full price. And I was like, I don't even care. I just want to pay the bill and get out of here. Like, let's go. Don't get me wrong. The food was good. The meal was good. It was just, you know, when you have a child, I mean, even an adult in some instance, when you have a child out past the time that, like, they're still functioning fully, like, she was, am I doing the right color? Yeah. She was exhausted. That is an understatement. And she just gets sloppy when she's tired. And she'll argue with you that she's not tired, which is also fun. So we get to the hotel. We have a bed and a pull-out couch. Eventually, it turns into Briar and I on the bed. And she is on the pull-out couch. I'm sorry. My husband's on the pull-out couch. And it was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, Briar, for the love of God, stop moving and just go to sleep. She's laying on her back. She has her hands up, like, up into the air, like, waving her hands around like this. I'm like, Briar, girl, just go to sleep. So she finally did, and then I woke up early in the morning so I could take a shower and get her up and ready. And then she has the balls to look at Brian and I, and she goes, why are you guys so tired? Are you for real, child? Are you serious right now? You kept us up all night, flip-flopping around. You kept waking up, and then you got to sleep in, and Mommy and Daddy were exhausted after driving 2 hours and then having to drive again in the morning. And she just looked at me like, no. And I'm like, yes. You know, kids are just, they're weird, man. They're weird. I love my kid, but boy, is she weird. So the next morning, like I said, we drove to Baltimore. We had our assessment. Maybe I will talk about that in a later date. Right now, I'm just satisfied we got everything taken care of. And, you know, I've never been shy about what's going on with my kid, but there's some things as a parent, like, you just need the time to process and figure out what your next steps are before you go and tell the world. So we had that appointment at 8:30 in the morning. It was about 2.5 hours, if I remember correctly. It was a very long appointment. It was a very long day. And then we drove back to Pennsylvania. And we had trick or treat that night. Let me tell you, by the time we got like halfway through trick or treat, I said to Brian, I am soon tapping out. There's not much left in my tank. And he felt the same.
What time did we go to bed that
I don't even remember.
I know it was pretty early.
It was very early.
I want to say like 10.
I was going to say, I think by 10 o'clock we were both asleep. Trying to multitask here. I mean, more than normal.
I didn't even come up to work that night.
No, neither one of us did. We just literally crashed. But we actually had pulled our kid out of school for a couple days that week because she was starting to get like symptoms of a cold. And I was like, the last thing I need is to cancel this appointment that I've been waiting for a very long time. And thankfully she was okay. And, the school, I told them, I was like, look, she's going to be out. I'm also going to be doing the same thing when we go to Disney. She doesn't really know that yet. But I think like at least 1, if not 2 of the 3 days that week, we're going to pull her just because we don't want to risk anything. Anyway, so Thursday, it was just exhausting. And then we came home and I said I was wearing the inflatable costume. If you've never worn one of these inflatable costumes, they are hot. Even though there's a fan running in it, it is just like humidity central. And it's so bad that the face portion of my costume was fogging up. But because of the way the costume was for this one, where the arms were, they actually fit into these fabric sleeves. So I couldn't even just quickly pull my arm inside to wipe it. So I'm trying to wipe it from the inside. I made it 4 houses down in our neighborhood before I took the hood down. I was just like, I can't. It's also, I don't know who they say this is for. I did buy the plus size version because my husband and I are both large people. And crap. Sorry, just lost some drills over here. I didn't want it to not fit. And I reached out to the company like 3 times about sizing information, and it didn't have any. So, they are not intended for people who are, I would say, under 5'10", maybe 5'8". So I had to raise my arms in the air so that I could even see out of the face hole. So I ended up taking that down. It was just, you guys, it was so hot. And I went to get in the costume, ripped a hole in it. There's no patches. So what did I have to do? My husband ran and got my sewing kit, and I sewed myself into the area. I couldn't take it off to do it because I wanted to make sure it was still holding air. And also I was scared to rip it further. When we got home, I was literally like, okay, you're going to help me take off my shoes. And then I turned it off and just shimmied it down to the ground and stepped out of it. I was like, there's no me trying to sit down. Like, this is just going to be like real quick. Picking up my foot, take off my shoe. Picking up my foot, taking off my shoe. It was just never again. But Briar loved it. She was so excited that I was dressed up like her and that we were trick-or-treating together. We found out somebody we know actually moved into our neighborhood, which was really cool. It was just a really fun night. It was fun times held by all, or had by all, I guess. Sorry if I get really loud. Shit. Well, it has dropped an entire container of drills off the end of my table. Did I need that? Yeah, I did. Oh, well. I feel like I hear Sarah McLachlan playing in the background. You know, like the sad pet commercial song. In the arms of the angel, fly away. Sorry. So yeah. And then Monday, we took our kiddo to school where they had a trick-or-treating event. So she got to wear a costume to school, which she was very excited about. And then I also took her to public skate for a Halloween event. So she got so much stuff. Also, kid, why do you keep taking all the Whoppers? I made her eat one. I was like, I need to make sure that you like this because stop grabbing them. And she's like, these are delicious. I'm like, well, they're all yours. Nobody else wants them. Who likes Whoppers? Why are they always in all of the Halloween mixes? Those are one of the things that are always at the bottom of the bag at the end of our trick-or-treating sessions. Because
you like the special dark candy bars, don't you?
I do like the special dark.
You're the only person, because every time, like, my grandmother would get, like, one of those Hershey packs, it would always be the special dark.
Oh.
Like, 75 of those, but everything else would be
Here's the thing, though. I also like all of the ones in there. Like, I know there are some people that, like, they just want this one. Or, like, give me all of them. Huh?
Crackle.
Oh, I love that. I love anything that has the nuts.
Yeah. That's what she said.
I'm really mad that I dropped those drills. Damn it. I'll have to get that after this working chat. It's going to drive me nuts. Because there's two right here that need it. I'm sure you guys can't tell from here. But anyway. So yeah, it was a very long Halloween season, which was great. I love it. My daughter is continuously asking us, like, is Halloween really over? And my husband is super annoyed by it. And I'm like, look, listen, until the next holiday starts, we're probably going to get this. Or until we go to Disney. Which is soon. And I'm freaking out a little bit. My birthday is actually next week. And then the following week we leave. So, yikes. But where am I on time? Okay, I'm pretty good. So that was the week of Halloween. If you guys have heard me talking about, like, the gifts, the countdown gifts for Halloween for my kid, or not Halloween, Disney, jeez, sorry, guys, my words, I'm trying to concentrate and things are just all over the place. So far, I've gotten her a Loungefly, ears, another set of ears, actually, we've owned for years that she's never worn, or has worn, like, one, so I don't think she'll remember, but it'll match her outfit for Animal Kingdom. I got a handmade sweatshirt, which is, like, Thanksgiving Mickey print. I got her an Anna doll, I got her headphones, I got her a coloring book. I think there's more. If there is, I want to make sure I can get to either a week or 10 days. She's really bummed out because she saw mommy got a Loungefly and she really wants a Loungefly. And I'm like, girl, you have one. You just don't know it yet. She's like, I want to see it. So, interestingly enough, we took her to the mall the other day. And the one that we got her, she saw in the store and had very minimal reaction to. So I'm hoping it's more when she gets hers in person. But it's just been the amount of days I've spent in the ice rink between public skate, Halloween skate, learn to skate, you know, it's been a lot. My kid always has some sort of activity to do and project to do and different things to do. They just started up Tat Shabbat this weekend for the first time since we got our new rabbi, which I was super thankful for. I really enjoyed that. It's just, it might not sound like we're doing a lot, especially because I'm kind of giving you a super condensed version of like 3 weeks of stuff with just, you know, a handful of days. But there are days that, like, I feel like I don't have an opportunity to even, like, sit down and pee. It's just so busy. So many things, doing so many things. And some of that is I also try to take Briar to do something, run an errand, go somewhere, do an activity, so that Brian can get a little bit extra time. Because not only does he, you know, have a small business and doesn't get, you know, paid time off, but he has deadlines. And he wants to have a certain amount of things done before he leaves so that he is okay with missing an entire week of work. And I can feel the stress on him. We've had the conversation. He's really good at pulling it out when he needs to. I don't mean that inappropriately. But he also does not want to sacrifice time with his daughter to do work. And I've explained to him, you're not sacrificing time with her. You're doing this so that you can have that time with her. And I have absolutely no problem taking Briar with me to go do something so that he can get a couple extra hours. And sometimes he's more reluctant to it than others, but that has also been happening. Briar and I did a craft project the other day. We painted a ceramic dinosaur that we got from Target. It's been absolutely gorgeous here, like in the 70s. I don't know why. And there's been a lot of like outdoor play, running around, just being outside. Like the kid loves being outside more than anything. And there's been Target runs. There's been going out to eat. There's been, like, Briar and I yesterday, we went, and we had hibachi together. And, where did I take her before that? Oh, Tashabat, huh? And it's just been really nonstop, which has been great for, like, to see how much my kid loves these things and she participates and how much I can see these social activities are making her happy, but it's also taking away time that I need to decompress. My body wants to remind me that it's starting to fall apart because I'm getting older, and that's not fun. And it's weird seeing how much I see this helps my daughter, but also, like, seeing how much it's, like, draining me out. I'm also pretty stressed about our Disney trip. And not because I don't think it's going to be fun, or I don't think, like, Erica, our travel agent, also the wife of Kevin's Creations, she's your resin gal. She did a great job planning things out, but, you can only plan so much when you're taking a trip with a 5-year-old and 2 senior citizens in their 70s. So I want to make sure that this trip is going to be enjoyable for my daughter and my mother particularly. So my husband and I kind of end up on the back burner. And, I have a big birthday this year, and I feel like it's not important, which I know my husband wants it to be important. We just don't have childcare to do anything. But it just kind of feels like I'm on the back burner. And maybe that's selfish of me, maybe it isn't, I don't know. But, like, I love birthdays. Like, my husband is not the person that likes being sung to in public and doesn't wear something that says, oh, it's my birthday. I, on the other hand, am like, treat me like a fucking princess. It's my birthday. Like, I love birthdays. And I know that we'll do something. It just, it'd be nice if my husband and I could actually, like, go on a date for my birthday and celebrate my birthday on my birthday instead of, like, maybe in the hotel room when my kid is sleeping, that we can have 5 minutes to ourselves. Like, I don't know. And I don't want to sound selfish or greedy because, like, we're going on a really big trip, but it just sucks. And, let me say, my husband has already expressed to me that he wants to take me out for my birthday. But it sucks when you don't have anyone who can take your kid. My best mom friend would take my daughter. Let me just preface that. She doesn't need to take my daughter because she already has 2 of her own kids, and lives an hour away. But, like, I know if it was, like, a super emergency situation and I was like, can you just take her? She would be like, absolutely. She's actually offered that to us. And I'm like, girl, if you didn't live so far away, maybe we would take you up on that. But also at the flip side, like, I don't know if I could handle both of her kids and my kid all at one time. She's super mom. I'm just trying to survive the week. I think all parents are trying to survive the week. But yeah, it's just, And now Briar is back on Christmas again, which is tough because she understands that we don't celebrate Christmas. But the next thing that comes with that is not understanding why do other people celebrate Christmas. And so I'm like, because they're Christian. I laid it out as simply as I could. So now it's, Mommy, do you think that Elsa's a Christian? You know, I don't know, kid. And then even today, Brian's like, I don't know if they celebrate Christmas in Arendelle. And Briar's like, I think they do. And it's like, all right, well, I'm not going to have like an in-depth argument with a 4-year-old about Arendelle. I am not an expert. If you guys don't know, that's where Elsa and Anna live. Another drink break. You know, it's really sad. The water in our taps is not like super cold, which is fine. I've been craving super cold beverages recently too, which is not like me because I don't usually like things that hurt my teeth, but like really cold. I want like ice cold. So I filled up my cup with all of the ice from the ice tray, and there's no ice left because the faucet temperature, as cold as it gets, isn't that cold. Unless it's like the dead of winter, but that doesn't help me right now. So, another sip. But, yeah, it's been, you know, a lot recently. Briar's head teacher finally came back to school. We had some paperwork that her teacher had to fill out at school. And one of the things was, child never talks excessively in class. And I was like, are you sure we're talking about the same child? Like, I love my kid, but boy, does she never stop talking. Ever.
So she talks excessively at home.
Oh my god. She's funny. Right now, I don't know why, but it's a daily thing of, Mommy, tell me I'm a duck. You're a duck. Daddy, tell me I'm a duck. You're a duck. Just like over and over. Like, girl, you're a duck. And then if you don't tell her, she freaks out. It's been a lot of outbursts happening recently and trying to figure out how to work through all these things. I got a call that the therapist locally has availability finally, but the one session is when I'm in Disney. I'm not canceling my trip to go have a 40-minute therapy session. And then the other session, where did that just go? Does that drive anyone else nuts? You put the drill on your pen and then you're like, where did it go? I cannot find it. And then the other one is on the same day as her 5-year checkup, which, okay, total tangent here. We called to set up Briar's 5-year checkup. Now, if you guys did not know, my daughter was born, her birthday is always around Thanksgiving. So a lot of times her pediatrician isn't actually there the week of her birthday. Because as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it'll ever not be within a couple days of Thanksgiving. I don't think mathematically that's possible. So, a lot of times he's not there, and we wait till he comes back, because what's the point of having an appointment with your pediatrician when he's not there? So now we're at November 29th, which is almost a week past her birthday, to have her 5-year checkup. And the woman informs us you can only have one well check in a calendar year, which means that every year it's got to be on the same, excuse me. Oh, sorry. It has to be on that date or later. Well, eventually we're going to be going into December then. Like, damn. It's so frustrating. But I wanted to make sure, and I know I'm not telling you what to do with your kids. I know this is a personal decision. For me, we want to make sure that my daughter gets her flu shot at the same time as her 5-year checkup. For me, I have to look at like the vaccine schedule to see if she's scheduled to get anything. They usually tell you that, but they merged with a larger hospital, so I don't know if like the people on the phone tell you that unless you ask. I don't know. So, and that's fine. I've already prepared her. I've already let her know you're going to be getting at least your flu shot. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, don't worry, Mommy and Daddy are getting ours too. And she's like, really? I'm like, not at the same doctor's office as you. So we have to get ours, like the CVS or the Rite Aid or the market or wherever. The other thing is during this time frame here, we my license expires next week because, at least in Pennsylvania, I cannot speak for other states because I know, like, Arizona, the license don't expire for, like, 4 years. Yeah. Ours expire every 4 years, and there's really not much you have to do except for, like, pay to renew it, and, that's pretty much it. And then get a new photo taken. My husband, we're not going to talk about how long ago his expired, but he got a camera card and used that as, like, his form of ID, and then misplaced that. So I was like, well, we definitely need to have valid IDs to get onto an airplane. So we were like, all right, let's do this while she's at school. So we went to the DMV in Harrisburg. I know this is super boring, but I got to tell you, and I think it's because it's the main one of the state, because it's the state capital. Oh my God, we were both in and out of there, renewed our IDs, got our camera cards, got our photo taken, and our IDs printed, both of us, in under a half hour. We were in and out that door and back home in, like, under an hour. Not even?
You could have told me I would give you a month of what I make against you giving me 0, and I'd been like, I'm not that sure of it. There's no way we'll be out that quick. Like,
it was amazing.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It was really well run.
It wasn't like
yeah, but they knew what they were doing there. And so both of our IDs have been taken care of. Like, you know, these are things that, you know, we shouldn't have waited as long as we did. That's our fault. My bad. But you know, neither one of us went through. If you guys, I'm not really going to get into this because it's boring, but Pennsylvania, as of next year, will require all residents who are flying to have either a passport or a real ID. Well, I don't have the documentation needed on hand to do the real ID, and I was like, I don't care. I need to renew my ID. If I have to pay the same amount in a couple months, I will. Like, whatever. That is a different symbol. Where are you? Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I just want to get this there before I forget. It's not working in my favor, you guys. So it's been a long time of us shuffling our kid to and from school, to and from the ice rink, to and from the other ice rink, to and from activities, just a lot of things. And I'm super, super grateful for all of the time that she spends, you know, out of the house doing things that help my child grow as a human being, but also, like, your girl needs naps these days. So I feel like I talked about almost nothing. If I do make that other video, I will post it, obviously. I shouldn't say that. There's a really good part of me that feels like I might just record it for myself to feel like it's a very cathartic moment to get that kind of stuff off your chest. And then maybe never have it see the light of day. But if you guys see a random face-to-face kind of video where I'm talking, please note it has absolutely nothing to do with diamond painting. But if it's your jam or you want to support it, please watch it anyway. But that's it. That's all I got for this one. I went over the hour mark. Sorry about that, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you'd like to see more videos like this, or, you know, nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell.
Sorry,
I do not operate on any sort of schedule, obviously. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record while the tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.